Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission here, well, it's pretty clear. Cut through all the noise, give you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed, and help you unlock those aha moments, especially, when it comes to making your money work harder for you. That's a big one for a lot of us. So today, we're doing a deep dive into the source material you sent over, specifically looking at the money mindset. Top 5 passive income ideas for 2025. And the big question we're trying to answer is, how can you actually start making money even when you're not actively working?
Yeah, it's kind of remarkable how much passive income has really come into focus in 2025. It's definitely moved past being just some buzzword, right? It feels like a genuinely accessible lifestyle now. Even if you're just starting out, which is great. So our goal today is basically to pull out the key nuggets, the really practical stuff from these sources for you, give you a clear path. And it's worth saying up front, true passive income, it doesn't always happen overnight, that's important, but it is achievable. The sources really stress, don't get overwhelmed, don't try to do everything at once. Just, pick one thing, find something that actually fits your life and just get started. Because the data shows, it consistently shows, the sooner you begin, the faster that passive income grows. Compounding is powerful.
Okay, right. Let's dig into that first idea from the sources then. I have to admit, when I first saw high-yield savings accounts and CDs, well, my first thought was, isn't that a bit old school? What makes these so relevant again in 2025?
That's a fair question. And the core reason is really the big shift we've seen in interest rates. It's changed the game. As of 2025, you've got some online banks offering 4.5%, even up to 5.2% APY on high-yield savings. And sometimes even more for CDs, certificates of deposit.
Wow. Okay. That's quite different from a few years ago.
Exactly. So it makes them probably the safest and definitely the most beginner-friendly way to start generating some passive income. There's basically no market risk, minimal effort needed. You just let your money sit and earn interest.
Right.
A really critical detail the sources mentioned. Always look for FDIC-insured institutions. That means your deposits are federally protected, usually up to $250,000 per depositor per bank. Gives you peace of mind.
Essential.
And for anyone looking for maybe slightly higher returns but still wanting some flexibility, the sources suggest looking into CD ladders. That's basically a strategy where you stagger the maturity dates on several CDs, so you keep some cash accessible while often locking in better rates.
Okay, that makes sense as a starting point. Building on that stability, let's talk about maybe accelerating returns a bit. The next idea is dividend-paying stocks and ETFs. This is where you start getting paid just for holding assets, right? Which sounds great. But I wonder, for someone just starting, maybe putting in just a little bit of money, isn't that initial dividend income almost negligible? It doesn't feel like much. How do the sources kind of address that initial feeling?
Yeah, that's a really common point, and it's totally valid. A $5 investment isn't going to shower you with cash immediately, obviously. But the real power here, it lies in consistency and compounding. Over the long haul, the sources point to some really reliable dividend ETFs like VYM, SCHD, or DVY. You might have heard of those.
The Vanguard, Schwab, those are familiar names.
Right. They typically offer annual yields, somewhere between 2% and 4%. And they have a solid track record. They're stable. But the real magic, the sources say, comes from reinvesting those dividends.
Automatically buying more shares with the payout.
Exactly. That lets your portfolio grow faster and faster over time. It's that snowball effect you mentioned. And honestly, you really don't need thousands to start. Apps like Robinhood, Fidelity, M1 Finance, they let you buy fractional shares now.
So you can literally start with $5 or something.
Pretty much, yeah. Just get your foot in the door. The really crucial takeaway here, though, is you got to be in it for the long haul. Do your research, understand what you're buying, and definitely resist that temptation to just chase super high, maybe unsustainable yields. Don't be greedy.
Okay, good advice. So if maybe playing the market isn't your only focus, or you want another avenue, the sources also talk about leveraging your own creativity. Digital products, things like ebooks, templates, courses. This one always gets me interested. The sources mentioned a simple budgeting spreadsheet earning hundreds a month. That sounds fantastic. But what are the real hurdles beyond just making the thing? How do you actually get people to, buy it, marketing it effectively?
Yeah, the appeal is definitely huge. Once you've created, it could be an ebook, a Canva template, maybe a Notion planner, or a full course. There's no inventory, no shipping, basically no ongoing costs besides maybe platform fees. It's pretty neat.
Right, the upfront work is key.
Exactly. And the sources point out that with AI tools becoming so common now, the actual creation part can be way faster than it used to be. And platforms like Gumroad, Etsy, Teachable, even Amazon KDP for ebooks, they make selling pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Now, about those hurdles you asked about getting people to buy, the sources are really clear on this. First, your product has to solve a real problem, a genuine need. Just making something cool isn't enough.
Right. It needs utility.
Precisely. And beyond that, the big challenge isn't just getting downloads, it's visibility. Getting seen, it usually requires, consistent effort in creating content around your product, like short videos showing how it helps or blog posts, engaging with your potential audience where they actually spend time online. It's kind of about building a reputation, not just pushing a product. Turning those downloads into dollars takes work.
Okay. That makes sense. It's not just build it and they will come. All right, moving on. For people who maybe already have a bit of an online presence, the sources bring up affiliate marketing through social media. This seems like a very direct way to monetize an audience, yeah?
Absolutely. It's pretty straightforward conceptually. You basically recommend products or services you genuinely like and use. You get a unique link. And for every sale that comes through that link, you earn a commission. Simple as that.
Yeah.
What's really interesting in 2025, according to the sources, is you don't need this massive following anymore. They mention nano-influencers, people with maybe just 1,000 followers, are actually landing good affiliate deals now.
Really? Only 1,000?
Yeah, it's more about engagement and trust within a niche, apparently. And it's considered passive because, well, once your content is out there, like a TikTok, a YouTube video, a blog post, reviewing something, it's working for you 24/7. Platforms like Amazon Associates, Impact.com, ShareSale, Rakuten, they make finding programs and getting links pretty easy.
Right.
But a really crucial point the sources hammer home is authenticity and transparency. You absolutely have to disclose that it's an affiliate link. Build trust. Audiences are smart, they can smell an overly salesy pitch a mile away. Promote stuff you actually believe in. That's key.
Authenticity is paramount.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the fifth and final idea from our sources takes a very practical turn. It's about monetizing assets you already own but maybe aren't using all the time. This sounds really smart, actually, turning idle possessions into income streams. But what about the downsides? Does the source material talk about, liabilities, insurance, wear and tear, the actual time it takes to manage renting stuff out, even just a car or some tools? Yeah, those are definitely critical things to think about. The whole concept is leveraging what's already sitting there. Think about platforms like Turo for your car when you're not using it, or Neighbor for empty garage space or shed space, or even Fat Llama for renting out gear cameras, power tools, party equipment, that kind of thing.
Huh. Fat Llama? Never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's out there. The sources even mention renting out an extra parking spot if you have one in a busy area. It's pitched as a really smart way to make passive income with basically zero upfront investment because you already own the asset. Seems particularly good in cities or suburbs. People are reportedly making, anywhere from $200 to maybe $1,000 a month doing this.
Wow, okay. Decent side income.
Definitely. Now, to your point about liabilities, very important. The sources do advise checking your existing insurance policies carefully and also looking into the specific rental insurance that these platforms often provide as part of their service.
Right, cover yourself.
Absolutely. And they also note that while it's passive because the asset earns for you, there is a management bit. Cleaning the car, coordinating pickups, maybe minor maintenance on tools. It's not completely hands-off, but many of these platforms handle a lot of the logistics, the booking, the payments, which makes it surprisingly low effort for the potential return. You still own it. It's just working for you sometimes.
Okay, that's a fantastic overview. So let's quickly recap what we've just dived into from the Money Mindset. Top 5 passive income ideas for 2025. We hit on high-yield savings accounts and CDs, dividend stocks and ETFs, creating digital products, then affiliate marketing, and finally, renting out your assets.
Yeah.
Quite a range.
Yeah, quite a range. And zooming out just a bit, the core message I think is really important to restate. True passive income. It generally takes time, it takes effort, especially at the start to set things up, but it is achievable. And probably the single most important takeaway from these sources is don't feel like you have to do all 5 at once. Please don't.
Pick one.
Exactly. Pick one idea that actually resonates with you, something that fits your current lifestyle, your skills, your resources, and just get started. Just take that first step. Because remember, the earlier you begin, the faster that income potential grows. Which really leads to maybe a final thought, something for you to consider after this deep dive. How could you leverage what you already have? Maybe it's an underused asset, like we just discussed, sitting in the garage. Or maybe it's an untapped skill you have, something you know that others want to learn. How could you use that to start your own passive income journey, maybe even this year? It's really about spotting those personal opportunities, isn't it? Finding your unique path to a bit more financial freedom.